Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Hoopsters Presents My School is Best contest. The idea behind this contest is to bring out schools that lead by example. What we mean is schools that are taking initiatives that are motivating their students to be better citizens and to be part of the community and take ownership for the community. And we all know schools play a big role in it. And we're sure that there are amazing schools out there who are doing this and who have been motivating their students for years now. And today we have with us someone very special. Her name is Mrs. Stella Pandhare. She has been with Hoopsters since the time we started our whole online journey. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us today. We know that it is, a hard time for everyone. There's a lot of schedule juggling that's happening. And you have recently moved to Shimoga. Can you tell us a little bit about your school that you're the principal of now?
Okay, I've moved to Kumudavathi Residential Central School, which is in a small district called as Shikaripura, part of Shimoga. And Shimoga is known for its education scenario. Shimoga is known for it. So Malnad especially is known for it. So I'm happy to be here. So it's a challenge. Yes, it is a challenge because in a small place like Shikaripura, you have a lot of first generation learners. And in today's scenario with the pandemic and everything being online, to get everyone on board, that is the biggest challenge that I have faced. And it's an ongoing process. I am still, trying to get things done. Mm-hmm. So yes, it's been good. It's a good learning experience for me as well.
So is online training different there than it was in Bangalore? Is there any challenge that you face, or is it just the same?
Yes, I would say yes, because I have worked in both the places. So I've been there in Bangalore during the pandemic as well. So I can draw an easy comparison because if you see Bangalore is known as a Silicon City, and people are, have some amount of knowledge of how technology works. So, and they have the Androids and they have the laptops and other things. So in a place like Shikaripura, even now you have people who have the phones with the keys. So yes, so to take them through that and to make them understand how important it is to ensure that the child is admitted into school and how important it is to attend the online classes. Yes, that has been a big challenge for all of us, all the educators out here. But educators, our tribe doesn't give up, right?
Yes, so, absolutely.
Yes. So that's something that we have relentlessly followed. And I think in this era, we need to relentlessly strive to help our students become the change that we want to see in the society. Yes. So we have to walk the talk. So we have to ensure that we role model, we follow what we are telling them, and perseverance, yes, never to give up at this stage, and to ensure that everyone is there on this platform, and to ensure that learning does happen even if it is back home. So that's something that we are relentlessly trying towards to achieve. Yes.
Ma'am, there's one question I wanted to ask you, since you're talking about a place where people are still using keypad phones.
Yes.
In Bangalore, the children or parents, we take all these resources like laptops and phones for granted, And in your school, if a child does not have access to something like this, how do they go about in this pandemic situation and the online situation that's happening? How do they ensure that they continue with it?
So what I'm trying to do from the time I've come here is I'm trying to buddy them with someone who's close to their house and who has, access to this, so that the child is not left behind. So we try and talk to the parents. They say that, okay, we cannot afford, or during this pandemic time, economic crisis is something that everyone is going through. So what we try and do is we try and tag them with someone, maybe a relative or maybe some friend who's staying close by, and ensure that we send the videos out to them so that the child can go and see the things and learn. Learning doesn't stop for the child. Okay. So that is something that we have started initiating.
That is a great initiative, actually. I don't think that is something we think about even, in a city like Bangalore. So, ma'am, like I told you, My School is Best contest is for schools that take initiatives like this, where they're making sure kids are always ahead, they're always doing their bit, and they're always, going forward, no matter what. And a part of that comes with teaching them how to take community ownership. how to become better citizens. So can you tell us something about the initiatives that your school has taken to ensure this?
I'm a big believer of this moral values and value system. Okay, call
Yes.
me old fashioned or call me old school, but yes, I've always been that. So, in today's age, when the entire world is marinated in competition, I don't see competition where the parents say, okay, my child is doing something really nice, or my child has these values, so let your child also have. We don't have such competitions in the world. Okay, so we are just competitive about either the academia or the sports and other things, but not about the moral values. And I take it very seriously. I ensure that, if we have good citizens coming out of our school, and if we put them into society, the society will be a better place. So during my journey in this education sector, that spans over 3 decades. So I've always ensured that more than academics, I give importance to moral values, because I feel that if a child is honest, child is disciplined, a child knows to follow rules, academics will follow, because the child will know to do the things. So that's something that I've brought into this school also. And luckily the school already had a lot of things that they were doing towards the community service. I very proudly would like to say that we have an NCC wing here. So NCC is not something that we find in every school in today's time. The reason is, earlier the NCC used to be sponsored by the central government and the state government. But in the 1998, I think the state government and central government decided that they would not fund the private schools. Only the central schools, the KVs, they would be funded for NCC, and the private schools had to take the onus of the expenditure on their own. So, and the students had to bear the expenses of NCC. So that's when, there was a decline in the number of students who started taking up NCC, because the onus of paying for it came on them. But luckily, we were able to get 2 battalions, one entire girls battalion. A battalion consists of 50 students. So we have entire girls battalion as well as boys battalion who have been there from 2018, and they've been doing great work in for the community. So that's something that the school stands for. And during this pandemic, Modi ji had opened up not a competition. He had requested the people to take up something called as a Swachhata Pakhwada. Swachh Pakhwada Andolan. So that is cleaning up the community areas, like cleaning up the parks, the water bodies, then the streets, because during the pandemic, hygiene was something that was considered to be utmost important. And so he requested people to take part in this Swachhata Pakhwada. And our students actively participated in the Swachhata Pakhwada, and we gave them, activities on a daily basis. Like one day they had to go to the temples and clean up the areas around the temples. One day they had to go near the lakes and the ponds, clean up those areas. So the Swachhata Pakhwada was something the students took up very actively, and it's still going on. The Swachhata Pakhwada activities are still going on. So that's something that we have taken up during this pandemic to ensure that community service is still carried out by the NCC cadets.
Okay, ma'am. Like you said, there's not so many participants or people joining in for NCC and all of that. Like when we were in school, I remember we had scouts and guides, and then we used to go into, if we wanted to get into NCC, we would get into NCC. And at that time, we would really look up to girls and boys who were in NCC. They were like, they were like the elite of the school. So that's how it was when we were younger. But now you're right that, we do not see so much of importance given to this. So can you tell us, what are some things that NCC or scouts and guides, these kind of programs teach students? Why is it important for them to have something like this in schools even today?
Now, if you take an NCC cadet or a scouts and guides, I myself was a girl guide in school. And I came from a military background. I hail from a military background where my father was a major in army. So if you hail from a defense family, not just the person who is in defense is disciplined, but the entire family that is attached to the defense personnel also becomes disciplined. Because the rules and regulations that they bring in and they inculcate in us, it percolates into us. So that is what NCC and Scouts and Guides does, because these are auxiliary units of the defense forces, right? So we have the army wing of NCC. So follow the time management, the discipline, the honesty, the neatness. All this starts in seeping into them. Because when you go to an NCC camp, then you don't have your parents or your mother or father, catering to your needs. You have to become self-reliant. You have to become independent. So these kind of trainings through the Scouts and Guides camp or the Jamborees or the NCC camps, the child is, taught all these values. It is not something that is taught as a classroom subject. It is something that through activities, through the daily chores that they do, all this is inculcated in them. So you can clearly make out the difference. If you are an NCC cadet and if you're not one, the way they walk, the way they carry themselves, that it's the body language changes. So there's a lot of discipline and integrity that comes into their lifestyle.
Okay, that is true, because like I told you, we used to look up to them. They were always the captains. They were always the head boys or head girls, when we had these cadets in our schools. Now that we are in this pandemic, which is, we don't know what is happening. We don't know how it's going to change. So there is one very important thing that has come in. We have learned that we need to sort of support ourselves with a lot of auxiliary and extra skills in order to survive, because a lot of people lost their jobs. They could not look at any other options because they knew just one skill, or they had just one thing about that could bring income to them. So given that, what are some skills that you think students need to learn in order to prepare themselves in case something like this happens somewhere, I don't know, for 10 years, 20 years, when they are in the job markets? What should they be learning?
Life skills, all the 10 life skills that the WHO has given us, that is something that we require to learn. Each of us, not just the kids, even we, the educators, we have to see that we bring it into us. Because in today's world, if you see, we have broader freeways, but narrow thinking. Correct? Yes. We are in the age of fast food, but slow digestion. Right? So that is a kind of life that we are leading. So this is a kind of, things that children are seeing. So to expose them to activities where life skills is learned. Now, like I said, the Swachhata Pakhwada. The Swachhata Pakhwada teaches them so many things. It teaches them decision making. How do I do this? It teaches them critical thinking. It teaches them to be self-dependent. So it teaches them integrity. It teaches them so many skills. So all these things, all the life skills that are required for a person to pass the exam of life. This is something that everyone has to learn today, to accept change, to move along with time, to be receptive to the change that comes in. So that is something that we all require to learn, and we also have to ensure that we transcend it into our kids as well.
Correct. Absolutely.
And if you take us educators, for example, we have coped up very well. People who did not know how to use a laptop or an Android, they are into Zoom, from classroom to Zoom. Yes. So that's something that we all have learned, isn't it? Yes. And so when we can do it, yes, we can teach our children to do better.
Yeah, I think you said it right. The teaching community is completely relentless. They're always thinking of the students, and no matter, I've seen a lot of my friends who are teachers. It's not easy. We think, okay, we're sitting at home and teaching on Zoom. It's very easy, but it's really, really difficult to make sure kids are learning. Yes. And the way they adapted overnight, I think it's really inspiring. It is very inspiring. Yes. And even children should, I hope children and parents appreciate it as much as we do. I'm sure they do. I hope they do.
Yes, there's mixed response. So yes, some do understand, but some don't, because in today's society, we have all the right recipes to cloud our vision.
Correct. Absolutely.
In and around, if you take a paper, you take the news, everything clouds our vision. So to give them that clarity of thought, so that is something we are trying to do.
I hope this initiative of My School is Best brings out what the teaching community and the educators are actually doing through this pandemic, because it is amazing.
Yes.
It is something that we couldn't even think. Who would think that somebody who is 55 years old suddenly decides that, okay, today I have to learn how to use Zoom and then create content for it, learn how to share slides. It's not easy. Even youngsters can't do it.
No.
So really kudos to them. Yes. Ma'am, is there any one, like you said, you focus a lot on moral values and, teaching children skills. Is there something that any of your students has told you, or any anecdote that you can share with your experience as an educator, that really told you that, you know what we're doing is right. This is what we should be doing. Is there any such thing that you can share with us?
Yes, many spanning all the years that I have been in this industry, and I think it was just 2 days ago when I just took out all the cards that kids used to give me during, Teachers' Day and all the other things. So I was just going through one of the cards that one of the girls had written. I think she was on your show as well, Anushri. So she said
Okay.
that, yes. So she has written to me that, ma'am, I have never been able to share my feelings with you, but that's the reason I'm writing it and penning my thoughts and I'm sharing it with you. And she says, I still remember the day when you had given me the chance to compare for a Kannada program. And I bungled up on stage. I was so scared that I had stage fear and I did not do well on stage. But you said it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes, and you appreciated me for the work I did. So that gave me the confidence that yes, I can better myself. And today I can go and talk freely without any fear in front of anyone. So I thought,
Yes.
yes, so I have done something right somewhere, that I have brought about some amount of change in one individual. That matters. So
But,
that will have a cascading effect somewhere.
and if you see her interview, I think that speaks for itself. She was so
Yes,
confident when she spoke, and
yes,
I was telling Mr. Bala, I was like, how well kids nowadays speak.
yes,
And that's right, our educators, our teachers, even if I can talk today in front of anybody, it's because my teachers were like that. They let us make a mistake, they let us go ahead and keep trying till we get it right.
true.
So I think, yes, schools do play a big role in our lives. And this program is hoping that children recognize that. We may not know in school, but the moment we enter the job market, we start facing challenges. We realize, oh, ma'am told me this,
Yes,
oh, this ma'am told me that. That is when we actually realize.
yes.
And ma'am, this is one question that I want to ask you is, why do you think a program like Hoopsters, because you have been seeing us as we have been developing our programs and all of that, why does a program like Hoopsters hold good today? Why is it important?
I would say that the price of greatness is responsibility. And Hoopsters has taken this responsibility to ensure that every problem that we have in society is addressed.
Hmm.
And that is something that requires, that platform is required for parents to understand. Because many a times we don't even realize the mistakes that we are making.
Hmm.
Yes. So through Hoopsters, I think we are getting a platform to bring our thoughts in front of parents. I think Booksters is going to make goodness contagious. So that is something that I
I
would like
hope
to
so.
say.
I really
Yes.
hope so. That is the hope. That is the dream. And I hope, and I'm seeing that it's happening. Interviewing
Yes.
kids like Anushri, we're meeting some really proactive children, parents, and teachers and educators like yourself. So there is a lot of hope. Yes, we are going to bring out the goodness at least, if not
Yes.
hopefully spread it. But at least I'm sure we can bring out all the good that's happening in the world. Ma'am, give us one signing off note and tell us why your school is the best.
Like I mentioned earlier, if moral values is something that we can give as a foundation to any child. So I understand that if that is there in a child, then nothing like it. The society will always be a better place. The world will always be a better place. So my school is in the process of becoming the best. I will not call myself that, yes, we are the best. We are in the process of becoming the best because we want to ensure that our motto, our vision is goodness.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was such a pleasure talking to you.
Same here, Nupur.
And
Thank you so
ma'am,
much.
I request you to tell all your students to share whatever they're doing. I've seen a few, and we're going to be talking to Manya in the evening as well.
Yes,
So I'm
yes.
looking forward to talking to her.
Thank you,
Please ask
Nupur.
them to share everything that they have
Definitely.
done on the website. And we'd like to have a small note about your school as well.
Sure, sure. I'll
So
share
that,
it.
yes, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Nupur.
Have a good day, ma'am. Have a good day.
You too, you too.